The unsurpassed, penetrating and perfect truth is seldom met with, even in 100,000 myriad kalpas. Now we can see and hear it, we can remember and accept it. I vow to make the Buddha's truth one with myself. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. So to continue with Kanchi Sosan's poem, that which is engraved upon the heart that trusts to the eternal. There is no need to hunt for truth. Simply stop exhaling personal opinions. Cease your abiding in dualistic views and take care not to chase after them or seek them out. For as soon as right and wrong arise, confusion sets in and your thoughts will go awry. The two exist because of the one, but do not try to hold on to this one. Simply stop exhaling personal opinions. I love that expression. Stop exhaling personal opinions, like bad breath. And often our personal opinions are just about as welcome to other people as would be our bad breath. Though we may think our opinions are just fine and correct and everybody would love to hear them, not always so. And of course this doesn't mean just the opinions we express, it also includes the views that we may hold privately. I don't want to tell you about my horrible views, but they still affect us, But any opinion is just that, an opinion. And therefore it's not the whole truth of whatever it is that we're exhaling an opinion about. The more we know about a person or a situation, the less black and white it appears to be. Over and over again, I find myself quite sure about something, and then I find I'm completely wrong because I didn't know the whole story. Over and over again this happens. I could be wrong, yes. Cease your abiding in dualistic views and take care not to chase after them or seek them out. We do chase after our opinions. We do seek them out. What do I think about this? How do I judge this person or this situation? Or other people ask us for our opinion. What do you think about this? And we feel we need to come up with something, and then we get all entangled. Or sometimes we do need to have an opinion about something. We have to do things, we have to make decisions, but we don't need to chase after our dualistic views and cling on to them. As soon as right and wrong arise, confusion sets in and your thoughts will go awry. When you make a judgment about something, and especially a moral judgment about a person, right and wrong, this person's right, that person's wrong, and so on, or mostly I'm right and they're wrong. When we do that, we don't see clearly. We can get all puffy and righteous. And often it seems quite justified. There are reasons for everything, and we often don't know what they are. Sometimes they're quite subtle. They arise from the far past. And the person may not even know about them, If you knew what a person has gone through in this life and maybe things inherited from previous lives, we could not fail to have compassion for that person, no matter what they may do. As someone said yesterday, would I want that person to suffer? Well, of course not. No matter who they are, we would not want them to suffer. Beings are doing the best they know how. When someone deliberately does something harmful, maybe it's because they don't know how else to deal with their suffering, and they think that harming other beings will help to ease it. Or, well, it may not make sense to us, but we don't see the whole picture. All beings have greed, hatred, and delusion, or ignorance. We're all capable of creating great suffering, and we're all part of the one which is Buddha nature. It's all the case. The two exist because of the one, but do not try to hold on to this one, the two, duality, right and wrong, good and bad, black and white, like and dislike. It's endless. And we can't get away from it. We can't just hold on to the one, unity, which embraces all things, or we will just end up with another duality. We have to deal with the differences. All acceptance is acceptance of everything. We can't just stay comfortably with the thought, all is one, everything is fine. Sando Kai, the title is sometimes translated as The Song of the One and the Many. All is one and all is different. The different senses, the different things, the upright, black and white and so forth. It's described in the Sando Kai. All is one and all is different. They do not oppose each other. It's not but all is different, and all is different. When you do not beget even the notion of the oneness of mind, nothing in the whole universe is seen as lacking in any way. And whatever is not lacking in any way is beyond things. For when thoughts of things cease to arise, your mind is no longer something in which thoughts arise. It all can sound kind of complicated, but I think we can get through it and understand. Yesterday, Kanji Sosan was talking about the oneness of your everyday mind and coming to know this oneness. But now we're going a little bit beyond that. We're letting go of the idea of the oneness of mind. We can practice it by being as present as we can. We can come to know it, but we don't want to have some concept about it, or we limit it to yet another idea. Just practice it, being here, present in this body, right here, right now, as we talked about yesterday. If we can simply sit still and let go of our notions and concepts. As Kanji Sosan says, nothing in the whole universe is seen as lacking in any way. Things are just as they are, and we can accept them. It can be very hard to accept things just as they are. Once again, what about suffering in all its many forms, both for us and for other beings? Well, I'm sure there was just as much suffering in Kanji Sosan's time as there is in ours. And we saw it in her question to Taisa Eka, there is something wrong with me, can you help me? And still, Kanji Sosan could see this, that nothing in the whole universe is lacking in any way, probably after many years of practice. She could see that nothing is lacking in any way, including ourselves, would you believe? We're not lacking in any way. We might not see it yet, but maybe we can trust that there is a perspective wider and deeper than our own, a perspective of compassion and wisdom. And that's what we try to come back to and trust ourselves to. Whatever is not lacking in any way is beyond things. This deeper and wider perspective sees beyond the differences, the seemingly separate things. For when thoughts of things cease to arise, your mind is no longer something in which thoughts arise. It's gone beyond that. It sounds complicated, but actually it makes sense. Thoughts of things cease to arise. Things always arise. Thoughts always come up, but we don't have to hold on to them, And still, yes, we need to live in the world and deal with all the many things, the situations, the people in our lives, and that is just fine. But we can bear in mind that there is this wider and deeper perspective, and we can come back to it. When we're all mired down in all the many things and we can't seem to find this perspective, we can remember and trust that it is there, it is here, even when we can't see it right now. It's engraved on the heart that trusts to the eternal, the one which is. It doesn't go away just because we don't see it. It's always right here. Just to trust that and keep coming back to it in all the conditions that we have to deal with. The sense of a separate subjective mind, along with its realm of objective things, disappears, whilst the realm of objective things follows the subjective mind as it sinks away. What makes objects objects is a subjective mind. The mind is experienced as something subjective because of these objective things. Subject and object, me and everything else, self and other, they're really just creations of our mind. We see things and we name them. I'm a person and that is a tree. Well, what makes the tree a tree? Actually, nothing does. It's just that we attribute certain characteristics to the thing and we call it a tree. Maybe it's a tree, maybe it's a bush. It doesn't care. It just lives its life and does what it does. Trees have been happily living their lives for millions of years before we came along and decided that there were trees. They just did what they did. They don't care if they're trees or bushes or whatever. They just do what they do. And in fact, they're just part of everything that exists, including us. No separation at all, except in our mind that says, this is the me and that's the tree. And when we see with a wider and deeper perspective and accept everything just as it is, this duality falls away. There is no me here and tree there. Our sense of being as self will cease to exist. Not as easy as we think, but it's, we work on it. We keep working towards that, seeing beyond the duality of this and that, me and them, me and tree, me and other. Seek to realize that the two worlds, subjective and objective, are from the first but the one, which is empty of such distinctions. And this one which is empty of distinctions is not something separate from these two worlds, for it contains all universes. The two worlds, the world of our thoughts and our self-centered views, and the external world of other people and the things that we deal with, they're not separate. We just think they are. Me, my thoughts, my life, me and my life and everything else, everybody else. They are both the one, and they always have been. The one which has no distinctions of subject and object, of self and other. And this one which has no distinctions is in no way separate from these two worlds, because it contains everything. All universes, all thoughts and things, nothing excluded, nothing separate. Kanchi Sosan says this over and over again, but we keep coming back to it. Just, yes, right. If you do not view things in such terms as crude and refined, you will not be a companion to biases. The great way is broad, being neither easy nor difficult to traverse. But if you are limited by your opinions, wary or filled with doubts, the faster you hurry about, the more you slow yourself down. Thinking in such terms as crude and refined, or I like and I don't like, or clever and stupid, or agreeable and disagreeable, a person I get along with, a person I find difficult, all the many ways we judge things and people. And if you can see how we do this and let it go, we won't go along with our biases and opinions. And as I've said, it can be really subtle, just a subtle little colouring of our view on something or a person or a situation, just to notice, look at that. Maybe I can just let that go and have an open mind about this. The great way is broad. It's for us and it's for everybody, no matter who they are or what we may think of them. It's for everybody. And it's not just for Buddhists, the great way, not just for us, it's for everybody. And it's neither easy nor difficult to traverse. It depends on how hard we make it for ourselves. We can make it really hard, we can be kicking and screaming all the way, or we can just really do our best to follow it. And some of it depends on our karmic inheritance, our disposition. Some of us find it really, really hard to train ourselves, really hard to meditate, really hard to quiet our mind, really hard to let go of our opinions, judgments and all that. Some people seem to find it comparatively easy. I think most of us, we all have problems one way and another, We try not to make it too hard for ourselves, though. Just try to see where we hold on to something and let it go. If we're limited by our opinions, our endless opinions about everything and everybody, or if we're wary and distrustful, as Kanchi Sosan says, fearful of letting go of our ideas and our views, or if we're filled with doubts about it all, then the more we rush about trying to achieve something, the more we slow ourselves down. We just get in our own way. Opinions, fear and doubt, these are some of the greatest hindrances in training. But we don't have to let them limit us. We can let them go over and over again. We don't have to cling on to our opinions and completely believe them. We don't have to completely believe our fears. Think, I'm afraid there must be really something to be afraid of. Not always, We don't have to believe our doubts, or doubt ourselves because we have doubt. Doubt's just doubt. Just let it come and go. Don't believe everything you think. Just let it come and go. See it. Let it go. If you try to grab hold of it, the great matter, you will lose a measure of it, as your mind enters convoluted and perverse pathways. If you let it be free to be what it will, then you will experience neither change nor permanency. Trying to grab onto truth or enlightenment or whatever we think it is, it just doesn't work. It's just a self trying to get something, and we get confused, wandering in convoluted and perverse pathways. But if we just let it, the unborn, indescribable, simply be free to be what it will, and not get our ideas and selfishness in the way, then we will experience neither change nor permanency. I had to think about that, experiencing neither change nor permanency. Great Master Dogen says in the Shobogenzo, impermanence is Buddha nature. Well, it sounds like a contradiction. How could impermanence be Buddha nature? Everything you see or feel or think, everything in our world is impermanent, subject to change. Even mountains and seas, the sun and the moon, they change over time. And the only thing that does not change is that which embraces everything, Buddha nature. So how can impermanence be Buddha nature? In fact, there is no conflict, there's no opposition. It can sound like a contradiction, but that's just in our own mind because we're thinking about it and having concepts about it. It's something that has to be experienced to make sense. If we just trust it and let it be free to be what it will, as Kanchi Sosan says, and if we don't try to limit it or get hold of it, then we go beyond the opposites of change and permanency, and we still dwell within them. You don't even have to really understand this, though it can help, because it's always with us. It's always with us. This truth is always with us. It's that which is engraved upon the heart that trusts to the eternal. Homage to all the Buddhas in all worlds. Homage to all the Bodhisattvas in all worlds. Homage to the scripture of great wisdom.